Okay, we are live. Oh, and let me change the
Sick.
thing here. I was going off your metafine name. That's nice and centered. Yeah, that's nice and centered. All right. So, Flubs, you messaged me on Metafy basically asking for some advice on a lot of stuff. A lot of like mentality, conditioning, habits kind of stuff.
Yeah, I basically just have a hard time with understanding the what my opponent's gonna do and like making the correct decision. A lot of the time I'll just kind of throw out something that I think is good, but it won't be appropriate for the situation.
Gotcha.
Um,
I mentioned this. I think I'll actually put Olimar. Because I think Olimar's one of the best examples of this with his literal, like his moves are literally different based on Pikmin.
right.
All right. So let's just play a few games and then we can kind of like talk about how it's going from there.
Okie dokie. Um, oh my. Should I change the buffer?
Uh, yeah, let's pick it up to like 10, maybe 11.
Yeah. Alright. Um, hold on one moment.
Gosh, all of our Pikmin are just in a polygon with each other.
Yeah.
Okay,
Is
this
that any better?
seems, yeah, this seems a lot more stable.
Yeah. Oh.
And I said,
Eh. Yeah.
okay.
I don't know. Should I up it even more?
uh, just for testing sake, let's pop it to like 20.
All right.
And then just from there, if that's not what it is, then we can figure out what else it is. And if that is what it is, we can just turn it down a little bit.
Okay. Let's see how 20 goes. Mhm.
Seems like that was some of it.
I'm not sure how else to fix it.
There's no special effects, so it's not like a caching issue. Um, yeah, I'm not sure. You can normally net play on your setup pretty well, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a region issue because I only really play with people on the East Coast. Um, like, would that be a netcode issue or?
That would be more of a delay thing than like because what's happening is it's like skipping, right? It's like hanging for like a few frames at a time sometimes.
Yeah.
That might just be a netcode thing. I'm not super well versed in the way PM netcode works. Um, Here, let's just kick it down back down to like 12, and then just kind of go from there as best we can.
Okay.
But yeah, so basically the way this is going to work is that we just going to play some sets, and then after a few, we can kind of like get a better handle on like what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah. I love all the little Pikmin death screams.
Yeah.
Ah, too low. Hmm.
Oh,
I will take it. And now I have the lineup.
oh yeah, it's pretty good.
No! Okay, if I grab ledge there.
Yeah.
Okay, man, this is a weird matchup.
Yeah, the Ditto's really odd. um, I don't know. I find it fun, but it's like one of the more... I don't know how to put it. It's like chaotic.
Yeah, there's a lot of variables. Olimar's like just tiny enough to get away from his own stuff too.
Yeah, it's like stuff that works on other characters doesn't really work on Ollie himself.
Yeah, okay, let's do one more. Get over there. Oh gosh, that grabs from so far.
Yeah, the reverse magnet hands is nice.
Ah, too low. Okay, so it seems like for Ollie's specific stuff at least, you're not really like playing to the strength of the current Pikmin you have out. So like the easiest example is like blue has the best grab and the kill throws, which are only really relevant at higher percent. That it can mess up the chain grab and it's more of like a side grade at low percents depending on matchup. but like blue makes it easier to get grabs, purple makes it easier to, you know, get stage control, yellow makes it easier to hit aerials at all, etc. And it doesn't really seem like you're like using and abusing that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah, I switched to being an Ollie main, like, I think 2 months ago-ish, so
Gotcha.
Yeah, I do have a lot to learn about, like, the way the Pikmin work, because I used to main Wario, and it's a big change from, like, having a character whose toolset never varies like this to, like, having to learn a character whose toolset is always variable, because you have different lineups and stuff.
Yeah. And even on the same lineup, you got flowers. You know, it is definitely a lot to like change to. I think a good example of like with Olimar, there's a very base level like, oh, I have blue, I should grab. I have purple, I should throw it in like frame trap, you know, or like pressure. And that's a really good example, like because those things are good. Conditionally in those moments. But I also think that that's a good example of, like, it's easier to tell if Olimar's going to grab if he has the blue lined up, or if you're at kill throw percent, or he's going to, you know, be airborne if he has the purple or yellow, right?
Yeah.
He's going to try to get on the same horizontal plane of you as if he has the white Pikmin to throw it at you. That kind of stuff it's predictable because it's good, but it is predictable in that sense. So, like here, let's just look at the lineups we get, right? You start with purple. So even automatically, I see the first pull's purple. I don't want to be down, like, under this platform down here, right? Because the threat of purple, like, purple side B into, like, stuff is really, really strong. That being said, though, I start with yellow. So I'm basically looking to react to what you're doing. So I want to be, like on the edge of this platform, ready to shield drop fair, ready to do like aerial options.
Okay.
So even like player habits aside, just Olimar going like, oh, my moves are better in this way now, right? Because that purple side B is super good. It is busted. It can enforce, like, it can guarantee grabs on shield if it's from far enough away. If they really just like don't mess with it.
Huh.
So that can be a good like shorthand for like, oh, you have a white, you might side B me. I don't want to be on the same horizontal plane as you unless I'm like approaching in a position where I can hit you for side Bing.
Right.
Or like that. When I have purple, like, oh, I want a purple side B. So maybe I'm doing like that, like run through that. I'm trying to get like slightly above you. That kind of stuff. For Olimar, it changes, which makes it more complicated. But for other examples, like other characters, it's static, right? When you're at up throw kill percent, the characters that up throw will kill you will, you know, start fishing for grabs. Because the reward is super high now. So, and similarly, like, if you've ever watched Smash Ultimate Luigi, at 0%, that dude grabs 90% of the time because it's as far as I understand, guaranteed 0 to death, or at least like 80% off of that grab. So even if it barely ever hits, you know, 20% of the time, any risk is lower than your reward. So even the top players will go for it a ton because it's just great.
Okay. You know, I didn't know that actually.
A more like melee PM example is like Marth Fox, right? If Marth's shield grab is unlikely to hit, but if it does, let's say on FD, but if it does, you know, you get Marth up throw on FD. You get like the stock, you know, you get everything. So you have to weigh that against, okay, if I shield grab and I get shined, what happens? If I shield grab and, you know, I get like nared, what happens? And the risk is almost always lower than the reward, because the reward is, for that kind of stuff, extreme examples, is the stock. Yeah, those are extreme examples, but they are static, which is why I kind of wanted to bring them up.
Right. So with Ollie, there's like certain things that they're not static, but like generalities. Like you said earlier, if I have purple, I want to like side B. If I have yellow, I want to like. Oh, I forgot.
Yellow aerials are good.
Yeah.
Depending on flower level, they get faster and have more hit lag for the opponent because they're electric.
So, oh yeah, I knew that. I just forgot what you meant by like positioning with yellow. I think you mentioned being in some part of the stage, but I forgot.
In this instance, right, let's look at yellow. So if I shield here, right, if you try to hit my shield, that's an immediate shield drop fair. Even against Olimar, who has some range on his aerials. Because the yellow, it's just so fast, and it is marginally bigger, but it's just a big move in general. These aerials become really threatening. Even Bear becomes really fast. Let me get out. Like, it becomes significantly better to do those things. The reward is higher, basically.
Yeah.
And in some cases, the chance of hitting is higher. So, like, if I get let me get rid of red. I can get a blue. The grab range means the chance of hitting is higher. So, even if, like, the reward isn't really that much better for the blue grab versus, like, the yellow one, it means I'm more likely to do it because the chance of hitting is higher. And especially in Smash, even stage control can turn into like those stagger situations. No, yellow, come back. Oh well. So even if the blue grab doesn't directly kill, maybe it goes to like this. Oh, you're on the platform now, right? You have to tech in some capacity. That's an action that like gets you hit eventually, right?
Right.
Like you're not out of the combo yet.
Yeah. Like, blue can set up for stuff even if it doesn't kill.
Right. And having that blue... There's blue. And once you get to, like, 90% on the stage, for instance, this is scary. You gotta guess F throw, back throw. Up throw, I think, eventually just flat-out kills with blue. And it's a lot of that kind of stuff that... for Olimar, it changes, but for most of the cast, it doesn't. Oh, fun tip. Ollie's only move that can consistently hit Pikmin on any latch point is jab. If you just
really?
Yeah, if you just jab one.
Oh, okay.
You would think it'd be nair or up tilt or like something else. It's jab.
Ah. Yeah, good to know. I always figured it would be like up tilt, but then it doesn't.
Yeah, hitboxes are weird. I think if it's like on the back of your helmet is one of the points or something where like up tilt doesn't have a hitbox back there, even though it like hits where the back of your helmet is when you press the button, because he moves.
Yeah, I was about to say, I thought it went behind me slightly.
Yeah, but that's the front of his helmet going behind him. Like he's bending.
Okay.
Pikmin latch points are wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as a general, like, it's really easy for Olimar, like, let's say in the Ditto, to be like, oh, like, what do I think Flubs is going to do right now? Probably side B or aerial me, right? Because the risk, yeah, that's 10%, too. That's a lot of damage, even if that's just the hit.
Oh, wow.
And then the aerial will get you a lot of stage control, even at like 40. Like here, it's like, oh, now it's all of my stage. And that, it's one of those things, it leads to situations that result in kills. So for Olimar specifically, it's not perfect, obviously, because the more you're aware of like, oh, side B's good, I should move out of the way, or like, oh, this aerial will hurt if I get hit by it, I should shield. The more that stuff like grabbing with purple is going to work. The more stuff like attacking with blue, or like attacking with white, where you might be expecting just to throw and forget.
Right.
But some kind of like feint movement can make that a lot. You can start playing that mind game basically of like, oh, I have a purple. You're at 70. If I catch you on bad DI, you might die. Or I could set up like the purple side B into stuff. Whether that's just stage pressure or like a full on like you have to move because if you block this, you get grabbed situation.
Yeah.
This character's so silly. But yeah, that kind of stuff. Oh, we hit time. That kind of stuff is. For Olimar, he has a literal glowing light, but it does require that like base the like knowledge check of like, oh, do you know what yellow's good at? Do you know what blue's good at? Versus like, let's take Falcon, right? Falcon's good at running at you, and he can get throw confirms out of, or he can get knee confirms out of throw. So if you're at a percent where knee might kill you, then he's more likely to start grabbing. Or if he has a lot of stage, he's more likely to like back up, for instance, right? So if you're cornered, he's more willing to like give up stage control to catch you missing buttons. Because he has more to give.
Right.
It's Olimar, it's a little more straightforward, but it also changes. See, so like now you're at 70, I can start looking to either get that tech chase. I think grab might still work here. And now that you're at 120, I'm going to be looking more for like stray hits and neutral, because grab I don't think will confirm anymore.
Right, because too much knockback.
Right. So now what I'm looking for has changed, even though like nothing about the characters has changed. The way percent works means that like that window is closed now, right? Like Marthritis to an extent. Marth is bad at securing stocks in X conditions because his combos just stop linking at some point.
Yeah.
The same thing is kind of true of combo routes. Let's say you're getting mixed up by Falcon DI, right? Or Falcon, he's mixing up your DI between like up air and knee at like 40-ish. That even has some nuance to it, because up air, depending on character, up air might not send to the tumble yet at 40. So you might have more time to act out of things. 2 up airs in a row might not be true. So that might inform your decision, like, oh, I'll just like maybe I have a lot of stage. I'll take the knee if I have to, and then I'll DI for the up air to kind of like call him out on trying to be sneaky.
So like, wait. So what you're saying is if he needs me, I could just like take that, but then try to avoid the up air.
Yeah. So let me get some percent real quick. Notice how up air does not tumble. So let's say if I had like gotten that off of a throw, right? He can get another up air, but getting a knee is a basically you have to like not press or not try to avoid the knee. So let's say I get the throw here, right? I think I'm gonna mess it up, so I'm not gonna actually do it. Let's say I get the throw, I up throw you, and then I go for. Then you have to guess. Oh, are they going for up air or are they going for knee? If they go for up air, and I don't get sent to the tumble, I can jump out of the next up air follow up. Like it's not because normally the threat is like, oh, up air just combos into knee, but without tumble, that situation is different. So even based on the percent in the same matchup, even based on the percent in the same matchup, it can be different. Like, that's one reason why
Right.
Meta Light up air is so good, because it sends him to tumble at like 15. So he can just keep doing them. That's one reason why when Wario Fair starts sending in a tumble, that becomes really good, because you have a lot more time to act out of, to enforce the bite mix-up, to go for like weirder extensions, things like that. Let me see real quick. Let me go back here real quick. Okay, so you also wanted to just get to general decision making, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we can actually Falcon's a really good example. We can use him. Or who'd be more straightforward example? Let's do Wario. So let's take FD, Wario and FD, right? There's no plats for him to like if I'm comboing someone up, I can't just bite them and try to build some more percent on a platform to get higher. Let's just stick with comboing for now, because we're on that already. To really like get down to the base of it, everything you do is to remove their 4 stocks before they take yours. So whether that's
Right.
Neutral movement to be like tricky, like oh you don't know where I'm going to go, or whether that's punish game, so you only need to hit them 4 times, or whether it's edge guarding or recovery. It's to make those little faces at the bottom go away. For punish game, there's also I guess for anytime you hit them, there's also a secondary kind of like, what is the goal here? Because there are some times that, like up throw waft, it'll just kill. There's just no mix up. I don't need to deal with it. No DI saves them. But there are also some times where, like here, it's like, that up air was bad. I shouldn't have up aired there. Because that gave you way better stage control, and the percent is not super relevant in this matchup. It's not like I have a kill throw where we're counting down to 150% or whatever, where it'll now kill you. You know what I mean?
Right. So it like wasn't just wasn't the optimal option there.
Right, because it didn't advance my goals in any significant way, and it actually improved your position and put me in a worse one.
Yeah, that's a big like thing I have an issue with, is just I guess rationalizing my decision making, because a lot of the times I find I just will just get a lot of stray hits or just trade hits in neutral, but then I'm like, oh, I'm not getting anything off of this. Like, I feel like I'm not really doing it with purpose. I'm just like, oh, button good, I'm gonna keep hitting it.
Yeah. And especially with Olimar, some of that is also just Pikmin. Like, if you realize you have, three blues against like a character that is not going to be easy to grab, you might just need to toss those away, right?
Yeah.
And even though that doesn't like directly advance your goal of hitting them any better, it makes your options more threatening. Oh no.
Yeah, a lot of the time I'll just throw off Pikmin at the beginning of the match just like to make it more manageable, because if I have a full lineup, I just won't I'll feel overwhelmed, because I'm like, oh god, they switch with each aerial I do, and now I gotta remember each time I do one, like, what should I do with this one now? And it just becomes too much.
If it helps, because I kind of get overwhelmed with that stuff too, you can just look at the light on your head. You don't have to like think about the next 3 Pikmin. You can just go, oh, I have, you have white and yellow, and that's an ensemble at 0. Good lord. And you don't need to like be like, oh well, in 3 hits I have red. Like, you can definitely try to do that, but it becomes very difficult to manage, especially early on when you're trying to focus on other stuff. So like that's a really good example. That up air, no waft. You got that sour spot up air right after the down tilt.
Yeah.
Especially with yellow, that doesn't do anything, even at like 120. So I think after that down tilt, it might be better to just pull 2 or 3 times. Because that's another issue you run into eventually when you only work with 2 Pikmin to start, is that, oh, maybe you had a white and I killed it, or like you threw one off by accident and now you need to remember to pull before you lose your next one, or else you just don't have moves.
Yeah. That's something I'll find too, is like, I'll throw by accident or I'll forward smash to like try to gimp, and then I'm like, oh crap, I'm Nolimar all of a sudden.
Not a good character. Not a
not
a top tier. Has a few bad matchups, I'd say.
yeah, just a few. You know, like the whole cast.
I think Sopo probably beats Nolimar.
Yeah, actually.
Sopo has kill moves.
Sopo can actually kill. Do you ever try on Nolimar Ditto? It's terrible.
Unfortunately, yes. It was one of those things like, oh, this should be fun. No, it shouldn't be.
No.
But, yeah, sometimes it's worth knowing what options you have that will improve your position versus just make the number go higher.
Yeah.
Because the number being higher doesn't always improve your position. Like, Marth is a really common example where it's like, oh, they'd almost rather face an opponent at like 60 than at 80.
Right.
Because at that percent, it becomes really hard for them to start anything. Like, their most common options are just they don't lead to anything anymore.
Oh no.
It's the one button kill move. Let's go. But, yeah, Olimar is just a little... He has his own unique gimmick on top of that kind of spins the wheel, as it were, of like, oh, what options... Like right here, this matchup is not 50-50 on the first stock, because you have 4 Pikmin that are different. Let me rephrase that. Even if it's 50-50, it is not balanced. Like, at this exact moment, we have different lineups that can do different things and threaten different options.
Right.
We even have the same Pikmin, just a different lineup, and automatically, like, I'm thinking, oh, okay, I need to be careful of aerials, and I can swing more freely with my red because it'll like, do more damage to make my stuff better on shield and stuff. Oh, I always forget the antennae have hitboxes.
Yeah, I forget those are a thing too.
They don't actually deal knockback, they just deal damage. On jab, at least. A lot of the way to kind of figure out what your opponent is going to do too is also on player preference. So, like, if I don't like reds, even if I don't throw them off, I might be more liberal. Just kind of like toss them out there and just not really care. Like, oh, that'll be my grab button, sure. Or maybe it's, especially Olimar exacerbates a lot of like player habits because the moves are drastically different from one another. So maybe it's like, oh, they don't grab until like high percent, or they try to grab a lot out of shield. Things like that.
Yeah, I'd say I'm definitely more of like an aerial heavy Olimar than one that focuses on grabs. Because, I don't know, I used to play characters that were just heavily, like Wario, just focuses on aerial spacing, so that's just what I instinctually go for, even though that's not always the best, as different Pikmin aren't as great for that.
Yeah, the good news is that the more you focus on aerial spacing and stuff like that, the better shield gets for the opponent, which means the more likely, the easier it will be to end up landing those just like, oh yeah, I just dropped down in front of them and grabbed with my slow grab, but it hit them.
So does that fall under like conditioning then?
Yeah, more or less. Like, oh, I've shown that they should be afraid of like contesting Olimar in the air, so they stopped, and then I punished them for it. Conditioning is really just bullying. It's bullying and gaslighting.
Gaslighting.
It is. It's like, I told you I would be doing this, and I didn't do it. So, therefore, you're the one at fault somehow. Fighting games are mean.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Like, if you... Like, even tech options, right? Let's say there's a situation where a character puts you into a tech option consistently. Like, Kirby down throw, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I have a friend who does this, who's evil. So let's say all stock, right? He'll cover tech towards ledge, or he'll cover tech in place, and then right when it starts killing, he will start covering. He will like just seemingly out of nowhere hard cover tech in with the side B, where you just think, oh, like actively not punishing you for something until it'll kill.
Right.
That's just bullying. It's kind of choosing to not get the punish now to more likely get it later.
Because later it'd be more, you'd get more mileage off of it.
Right. Because at like 20, your punish isn't going to be side B in the first place. Because again, regardless of the number, it's just not, it doesn't give you as much on hit as like maybe up tilt or another grab or something, right? That's why... What move hits these Pikmin? That's why even like Sheik tech chasing, right? The throws are almost always like a low damage option, but they loop. They put you in the best position of just being able to, if you can react perfectly, just get infinite damage.
Yeah.
Hey, this character's actually kind of fun.
Yeah, Kirby fun, especially in a plus as opposed to 3.6.
Oh yeah, Kirby got some 11 plus. Oh no. Oh no. But yeah, that kind of stuff, it's a lot easier to notice when it's like set situations like that. Like in 2D fighting games, it's usually a lot easier to notice a player habits because you are more limited. Like you're in a physical corner. You know, do you try on when you get off the ground and you have a move that's invincible? You know, it's more set in stone RPS than just like, oh, they're gonna jump at me. Okay, what move do I pick? You know, do I execute it correctly? Was I even right on the fact that move beat that move in that situation, etc. It's like, it's just usually, how do I say this? It's usually easier to observe and like acknowledge habits when they are in like standardized situations.
Right. Because in Smash, it's more like there's this massive flowchart. It feels like where there's like, oh, with good DI, with bad DI, with no DI, teching, you know, what Pikmin do I have, etc. Just like a lot of variables to account for. I'm not good at thinking of them. I don't know if that makes sense or if it's applicable.
No, that makes sense. I think it is. I think you kind of hit on the secret, though. It is a flowchart. How do I get this off me? If you can kind of optimize the flowchart, it becomes a lot easier to handle and digest.
Do you think it's more important to have like character-specific context for that flowchart? Is there like more or less like a kind of generalized one that you could follow before you learn the matchups fully?
It kind of depends on the specific thing you're trying to flowchart. So let's take Olimar, right? Olimar against most of the cast wants to up throw at low percent.
Right.
Because that puts them in the worst spot. Then, that's easy. So when you get a grab, you don't have to think at low percent. All you have to do is, what are they at low percent? Great, up throw. Whether, red, white, blue, yellow, purple Pikmin, up throw. Doesn't matter what you have next. It doesn't matter what's 3 Pikmin down the line, what the matchup is. And then as you get higher, as you get more specialized, you can go, oh, it's Spacey's at 80. I think I still up throw here, right? And, actually, let's test that right now. Because I don't know.
I wonder.
It's usually a fair guess that Spacey's don't like up throws. But as you learn, be like, oh, up throw at 80 is a good thing for me against Spacey's. Yeah, you can threaten that really well because they have to move basically to get out of the way of the aerial.
Right.
So that can become something you just kind of default to. Oh no. Yeah, but it's cool shortens. So when you can compartmentalize that, it becomes a lot easier to think about stuff and be more present in the moment.
Right.
So on characters that Shine doesn't knock down, Fox doesn't think, oh, what do I do out of Shine every time it hits? They just wave Shine. Or they've decided ahead of time to do something else. Oh, maybe it's kill percent or it's approaching it. It's going to be wave Shine. There's not a thought process there. It just happens. Or that's the decision, rather. Oh, yeah, all of our Pikmin. I was confused for a second. And a lot of punish can be like that, too. Especially for Olimar. You don't have to specialize your punish to the perfect situation. You can just kind of take what you can get and then move on from there. Oh. It doesn't have to be just an example that you're kind of trying to chain grab with or tech chase with grab after up throw at low percent. That's hard. And that might be something you want to end up doing, especially depending on the matchup. But it's also valid to just let's say you grab me here, right? And you think oh, where are they going to tech on this up throw? Well, if you just want to hard cover one option, that's perfectly valid. Especially because the left option is high reward because you can knock me off stage super easy. The right option is more likely to hit because it's a safer thing for me to do. You can just play the numbers that way. Plus, if you cover the right option to the tech right and I don't go there, you're center stage. Versus the other way around, you're cornered. So it can become... It doesn't have to be oh, I've reacted to everything with this character that kind of can't, if you're playing Sheik doing tech chasing, there is kind of a mathematical, you can technically just react to everything if you're really, really, really good at stuff. But that's some matchups. Not all matchups you can just tech chase to death like that.
Right.
Okay, I know I have a tendency to kind of just keep talking and keep talking. Does that all make sense?
No, it's fine. I'm absorbing it. Sorry.
No, nothing to apologize for.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Olimar tech chasing.
Dash attack is a decent one.
Yeah, because I don't know why I instinctually go for grabs. I guess it's because I just don't know what his tech chase options are yet fully.
Grabs aren't awful. They're not, especially against like fast followers at low percent. We're launching them as the hard part. It's not like an awful thing to do. I imagine most characters do it just because like you can't CC it, so it's not like a variable thing. And a lot of tech chase situations come from grabs, so it loops the situation.
Yeah, I think that's why I do it. It's just like, I don't know if it makes sense, but it like gives me more time to think about what I want out of a grab sometimes, or like I'll do it because I want to like try to shake someone up and like see how they react.
Yeah, that's perfectly valid. There are some characters that just like have a really hard time with it though, and like Ivysaur's grab is not a great tech chase option, but she has dash attack, which is very strong in the base hit. So sometimes you'll see character specific options that go for other things, like especially like DDD will go for grab a lot of the times because his other options kind of suck and his grab is great. Same thing with Marth. He can't really like chase you down and easily break CC or like start something with that grab. Whereas Roy has base hit of down tilt being like his god move, one of the best launchers in the game, especially when he's already chasing you like that. He's already super close. He can spend as much time as he wants like comboing you. He doesn't have to move. Yeah, it's even just like how characters chase on knockdown is very, very different. Like Puff can obviously threaten rest, and then her grab is decent. Whereas again, she's kind of like Elbar. She doesn't really have anything else. I just suggested try to use something else because Ollie's grab's a little slow, but his dash attack isn't like Mondo strong.
Yeah, would there be anything besides dash attack?
Depending on exact spacing, let's set this up again real quick. Depending on spacing, you could just like if you decide to cover one. If I decide, like, oh, I'm going to cover, let's say you're right here, right? I'm going to cover tech in place and tech left, and then you get if you tech away, you get out for free. Like you usually, if you're going to try to cover everything, you have to give up the severity of punish.
Right.
So like if you're going to try to cover everything with Ollie, the character that is not really like phenomenal at it, you might just have to take the dash attack if you're trying to like fully react. Here. This character's weird. Yeah, because you definitely could have buffered spot dodge there.
Right.
Yeah, and dash attack is not super strong. It does send into that situation itself though, which is nice. You either have to DI it out or just kind of get in the same situation. Oh, hey, reverse. Let's go. But yeah, sometimes there's like numbers wise, there's just like not a lot you can do. What? That was weird. I heard the latch noise.
Huh.
I thought I heard the latch noise. That might have been you grabbing ledge. But yeah, a lot of Ollie decision making is a lot of character decision making for combos in general is like, oh, will this kill? And for Ollie, that's a much harder question to answer. Like, will this threaten a kill? It's like, what Pikmin do I have, right? My moves literally change. I have 15 versions of my forward air.
Yeah.
Like
15.
Because the flower levels.
Oh, flowers, yeah.
But if you can kind of just like, if you can just shorthand those, it becomes a lot easier to think about. Because it's like, okay, let's take. Here, let me get rid of a purple so I have some varied Pikmin, right? What did I just say again? Blue? I mean, it doesn't really matter at this point. Let's just take my lineup, right? Like, how many forward airs do I have? Well, I technically have up to 9, and that's stupid. So, you know, the shortcut is, oh, I have 3. I have red, yellow, and purple. And the flowers just make them better at the things that they're already good at. Red's damage, purple's knockback, yellow's speed, and combo tool. If you want to compartmentalize even further, you can just be yellow's combo, red's kill. Because that's like damage and knockback are close enough.
Would purple be kill too in that instance?
Yeah, purple is knockback, red is damage, which are usually tied together pretty well. So you can just kind of like, paint with a broader brush to not have to think about it. Like, if I'm thinking, oh, I have red, yellow, and purple. How many? Like, what is my grab like? It's like I have one bad grab, and I can just stop thinking about it there. It's like, yeah, I think yellow does go slightly further, or vice versa. I think yellow goes. It's hard to tell. They really go jittery. Like, I don't need to get into the nuance of like, oh, my yellow forward aerial has a margin an inch more range. Like, it's just faster. We can just shortcut it. Like, when you're in a match, especially.
Okay.
So you don't need to.
That makes sense.
Yeah, you don't need to think. I want a blue, just for. Okay, white actually works too. So like, I don't have to think of like, oh, white's a really good grab, but very weak throws. Oh, but that's right, but that's good at high percentage. Okay, long throw, medium throws, long range grab, short range grab, medium range grabs.
Okay.
And I don't need to memorize the order. I just need to go like, okay. I might, like, I personally, I don't have a hard time remembering white purple, because white purple's a really mean DI mix-up. Because you get stuff like this. You just can't, it does not send you far enough to DI on a white throw. So that makes white, so like in this instance, right, if I get this grab, this hurts. Okay, that should have hit, you get my point.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to memorize the entire, like, RGB or Roy G. Biv Pikmin lineup. Like, I didn't know it was red into yellow. I don't main the character, but like I play him a fair bit. But it just can be like, okay, there's the three colors and then white purple. Or like, oh yeah, it's purple and then the beginning of the other, like purple's the last one, right? Or maybe you think, oh, blue, with my lineup I have two blues. So after I use a blue, I have another one. So I can like threaten something into a grab, or however you end up thinking about it. You don't need to think like it doesn't need to be the full Jason Bourne like, okay, my order is red, yellow, blue, then white. Optimal combo is blue grab. It's like you can just be like, oh yeah, I have a white next, right?
Right.
So here I'm threatening aerials that do a lot of damage at 100. Here I'm threatening fast ones to get me stage. Here I'm threatening the on-stage punish because, blue throw. There, that's going to explode soon. Like, it doesn't need to be a super thought out thing. It can be like, oh, what do I have now? And especially if you get like a unique, or not unique, but a very a preferred lineup, like if you really like purple yellow, you can just think about it like one on, one off, right?
Right.
Like, okay, you got the kill one, you got the combo one, and you have the side B that's really good, and you have yellow side B.
Yeah.
You don't need to get into like the nitty gritty of like you don't need to like timer camp just to get the flowered because that's like 1% more damage or something. You can be like, oh, I'm just gonna play it.
Right.
If you want to be more defensive to get the flower to get the higher reward, cool. But you don't need to engage with every aspect of the character immediately. What is this? Ah, hush.
Yeah. So. Yeah, yellow combo, purple, big damage, and then red, like, slightly less big damage.
So it is red is damage, not knockback, but damage. Purple is
purple knockback.
Purple knockback, but not damage. Blue is grab range. White's really good. White's kind of grab range and kind of like super low knockback, along with the flower thing. And then yellow is better aerials. But that's a lot to remember. Oh, what's up?
White is good?
White's really good.
When Bees was teaching me, he was like,
don't listen to Bees. Bees only likes the color yellow.
Oh, okay. See, that's, I think, where I pick up trying to throw away everything that isn't yellow.
Yeah, quite literally. Are you in the Olimar Discord?
I'm not, but I'm like, I'm pretty good friends with a lot of the mass people. I talk to Tyler a lot.
Oh, let's go Shadows.
He first taught me how to play Ollie.
Hell yeah. Yeah, Bees is his. He probably does this in locals too, because SFY for single flowered yellow, and like half of the Ollie Discord is with him either jokingly or seriously. And it's like there is some merit to like, oh, once it's flowered, yellow is just like really good. like having only yellow aerials is just like a really good thing to do.
Yeah, but sometimes it just takes too much time to toss away the other Pikmin, and like it's better to just go with the lineup, I think.
Yeah, like it's a specialized. Oh no, Malk, no, not like this. It's a specialized thing for once you're more comfortable with the character in general. It's not like something that. Why do they teach you? I'm so disappointed in these. This is why nobody plays Olimar. This is why nobody wants to pick up the character.
I didn't want to turn this into a Tyler trash talking session, and that's just how I was taught.
Oh, is his name also Tyler?
Yeah, his name is also.
Oh,
Tyler.
I thought you meant Shadow. How many Tylers are up there?
No, I didn't even know Shadow's his real name. I'm talking about Bees.
That's funny. But yeah, it can be easier to be like, rather than going like, oh, here are the five elements of the world that are all a little different. It's like red and purple are kill moves. Yellow, white, and blue are like not kill moves. White is explicitly only a combo move. Oh, let me actually get to white.
Yeah, what does white do again? Because I always forget.
It's just super low knockback. And then as it flowers, it will put a flower on them. The biggest advantage to that is that it comes up right before purple. So like here, right? You just can't get away from up throw there.
Like, do you mean by come up, like in the order I pull up?
No. So when you whistle,
oh, okay.
it puts them in a set pattern. I believe it's red, yellow, blue, white, purple.
Wait, really? It doesn't just rearrange them like any which way? It's based on color?
Yeah, so look, we have, in this case, we don't have red, but we have yellow, no blue, white, then purple. So if I get a new lineup, they're in the lineup, they're in the order you pull them too before then, but like if I get a new lineup, like it's like, look, I pulled them in blue, white, purple, yellow. When I whistle, it's blue, white. Oh, that was already in order, because yellow, blue. Come on, RNG. Okay, here we go. I know this is a weird one. So the order is blue, white, red, yellow. But after whistling, it is red. Well, it's white first, because it just goes to the next Pikmin, but it puts them in order of red, yellow, blue, white, and then there's no fifth Pikmin, but there's no purple either. So at least for white into purple, that will be or white into red even, that'll be a consistent thing that you'll have access to. If you have white and then purple, or white and then red. There's something also extremely mean. So let's say it's a lot to set up, but like once you start playing players that are aware of this, they're like, oh, I got upthrown with white, and they have a red Pikmin next. I should DI in so I don't die. Whistle is fast enough that you can feasibly whistle and then aerial.
Oh.
Because they're giving you the respect of like DIing out at that point too.
Gotcha. Oh, that's definitely something to figure out then. I didn't know that.
That's definitely something to like not worry about quite yet. It's just like a fun thing in the future.
Yeah, I should probably memorize what my Pikmin actually do first, but that's a cool thing.
Yeah, but kind of when you're in a match, until you get there where you know what they do, like offhand, it can help a lot to be like, okay, red's the damage one, like red and purple are the kill ones. You don't have to like know exactly what they do. You can just kind of freehand it.
Right.
Like you get the shortcuts. And that frees up your like conscious thought process to be like, oh, every time they throw a purple side B, they try to grab. Maybe I should try spot dodging or doing like not shielding the purple side B. Like trying new things.
And then on the other end, as the Ollie player, I should think, oh, they're gonna expect me to side B purple, so like maybe I should do something different or like.
Eventually, but as a rule of thumb, let them prove it first. Because otherwise, you can fall in the trap of like let's say, oh, I have purple, or what do I have? I have purple. Wait, I shouldn't side B because they'll be expecting it. What do I do now? And they're just like, haha, I like aerials. Like they might not even know what purple side B does, especially with Olimar. Like I play Mewtwo. I get this all the time too, where it's like before I expend energy trying to like get around somebody's who's being aware of something I'm doing, they need to convince me that they can like actually are aware of it and know how to get around it in the first place. Because it's just too much energy otherwise.
Like, I still don't know what to do when Mewtwo nears me. I'm just like, I can't crouch cancel this, I don't think. I can't really shield it. I don't even know what to do. I'm just like, I won't get hit by it, I guess. I won't be in his general radius.
That is kind of the answer. You can CC it. Just that the last hit will almost never, unless you're a really short character, the last hit won't be true CC. Have to be ASCI down, and it breaks that much earlier. It's like you don't have enough time to like land again.
That would explain a lot. Because I stopped crouch canceling it on instinct because I don't know if you know who HMO4 is.
Oh, I know Tony.
Yeah, I'm from Connecticut and I would play him a decent amount. So I just wouldn't crouch cancel against this Nair because I was like, oh, he can just get stuff out of it for some reason. So I just won't. And I didn't know about the last hit thing.
Yeah, depending on like where Mewtwo is floating to. Actually, I can just show you. What am I doing? I'm playing Mewtwo. Why am I theorizing this instead of just showing you? So if Mewtwo's floating high or your character's crouch is kind of low, like Sheik, if you try to CC shield this, if one hit misses, there's enough time for you to get the CC shield out.
Ah.
No, come back.
Nope. I'm not great at fading that back yet.
Hey, that's a good call. Just realize, like, wait, something is off.
Yeah.
There's a disturbance in the force. They're not moving.
Sometimes just standing there menacingly is a surprisingly good answer. Like, sometimes I'll just stand there and do nothing, and my opponent's like, wait, we just stand there for like a solid few seconds, and then sometimes I'll get something out of it.
Yeah, because it's kind of an issue of comfort. Where it's like, a lot of people know, even if it's not, they don't have great options, they know and are roughly familiar with like, oh, what do I do against Fox pressure? Or like, what do I do against like, there's like, let's say there's whatever top characters in the region. But it's like, what do I do against nothing? Because it could be anything. It's really mean.
Right.
Or like, if a character's not using their gimmick, and then it's like, what do I do against Mewtwo that's not teleporting? Like, well, there's a lot of other stuff you might have, but I've never experienced it before, right?
Yeah.
God, why is Olimar faster than Mewtwo? Give my boy some legs.
Yeah, no. Whenever I play Tony, I always felt that he was faster than he is for some reason, but he's kind of a slow boy.
A lot of it's probably also just like conciseness of movement. Where like when you're playing someone whose movement is good, it makes it feel like their character is faster than they are.
Right. Like, I've played some Schmoovin' Bowsers before, and I'm like, this character's usually, like, molasses, but some people make him, like, feel really, fast.
Yeah, that can be a difficult thing, too, about, like, matchup experience. Like, oh, I played this level of Bowser. I've never played, or even this kind, not even, like, a better or worse thing. Like, I've never played a Bowser who plays like this, or an Olimar who just throws away every Pikmin except for yellow. God.
Yeah, Tyler was like, oh, you could kind of Wario with him. You could kind of Boonga Boonga aerials. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do that for a little bit until I figure him out. And then I kind of fell into that bad habit of like, oh, I'm just gonna Wario fade away fair with Olimar, even though that's not always the best.
His aerials are really good for that, though. Where Wario, it's good for Wario because his movement is good and his aerials are like active. Olimar just has range on his, like, look at that. It's like bigger than he is.
Yeah. Yeah, I know yellow is ridiculous.
It's only a little bigger, but it's mainly that it's faster. I think yellow fair at fully flowers like frame 3 or 4. It's actually just cheating. Like, for as ridiculous as like throwing away every Pikmin except for one yellow sounds, and it does sound ridiculous, bees. Once the payoff is legitimately not insignificant.
Tyler, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. I love you. But
I'm just giving him a hard time because that's not the starting point for the character. You know, like, hey, have you heard about single flowered yellow? Like, what does Olimar do?
Yeah, it was like I was getting inducted into this church sect. I was like, oh, I have heard of Sippy, yes. Teach me more.
It's not a church, that's a cult. You know that's a cult.
Yeah.
It's a cult leader, too. He's got everybody in the Olimar Discard with Siffy. Or I think there's someone who has DFY, dual flowered yellows, but...
What does Diffie do?
Just if you get 2 flowered yellows, it's better than Siffy. Because there's 2 of them.
Why wouldn't Diffie be better? Like,
well, it's because the chances of you getting another one are low.
Okay.
I believe that... Yes. Also, sometimes Olimar's Pikmin just go away and they don't return for a while. Not a lot, but... Sometimes... Now it's like, I gotta just kill you with that... I gotta nair you or dash attack you until I get to space. Ah, yes, Sippy. It begins.
Well, actually, it's Slee right now.
It's C!
Yeah. It's just the leaf. How long does it actually take from leaf to bud to flower? I actually have no idea.
30 each? I'm not confident, but I believe it's 30 each.
30 seconds?
Yeah.
Or 30... okay.
Yeah, not frames. No. They grow up in like a second.
That'd be great, because then I'd never have to keep track of buds or anything. Just, oh, they're always flowered. That's fine.
For the most part, that's one of those things you just don't have to keep track of in general. Because, like, it doesn't change your decision-making on anything.
Right.
So maybe being like, oh, you know... Maybe realize, like, oh, my purples are flowered, if you're looking for a specific kill confirm. Maybe down till up air with purple at flowered kills a little earlier, right? But that's not something you gotta worry about.
Yeah, it's, like, minute enough that I don't have to worry about, like, whole different situations, right?
Right. Like, Olimar is a very straightforward character. The Pikmin are a little weird, but, like, if you can just generalize... Red and purple are the kill ones. White's the, like, 0 knockback one. Blue's the grab one. The yellow's the aerial one. You're good. Like, you can start... Like, that's all you really need to start.
So blue is the one that makes back throw a kill throw, right?
And forward throw. And up throw.
And forward throw?
Yep. It's a DI mix-up. Here, let me go ahead and CC for a while. Okay, let me toss these off. Red, yeah. So here, I'm gonna forward throw you. Don't DI at all.
Okay.
That gets there. I think back throw's probably a little stronger. Yeah, back throw's stronger, but like forward throw will get there too. And then I think if this percent is up there a kill throw. It's getting there.
Yeah, it's getting there. On a shorter stage, probably.
FD has a kind of low ceiling. It's not. I think it's actually it's not as low as PS2, but it's not.
Yeah, I was about to say it's not as low as PS2 or like Green Hill, right?
Green Hill's a high ceiling.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Great part, but
it's all good. There's no real like in-game easy way to see them aside from just like knowing.
I've always just judged by like, does this look short? No. Okay.
Yeah.
FD I thought was a high ceiling just because this looks like it goes high up.
There's just no platforms, so it's like it's not an illusion, but like it's easy to be like, oh, Wario's a super short ceiling because the platform to blast zone is very minimal. Same thing with like even Smash Bros has a pretty high ceiling, but the platform to ceiling is more significant.
Right.
PS2 is an outlier because even off the platform you kill off the top early. Green Hill, you got all this space up there. Same thing with Fountain. But Fountain, you have that platform layout to sometimes be like, oh, I'll get on the plat and then I'll kill vertically. But like here, how high do I gotta be to even hit the bubble?
Oh. Well, I was today years old.
Yeah, there are better ways that I think I know it gets a little crunchy, but I do like the the plat fighters that just have. I think Rivals does it. They just have the like numbers. They have the numbers like on the CSS or state selection screen. Like, oh, ceiling X units, right? Did I unintentionally get Siffy? Oh, maybe he's right. Maybe this is just it happens. Siffy chooses you. It has to, right? Like, it can't not choose you. You can't choose it.
Nope. I end up with purple yellow a lot unintentionally. Oh, like right there, except I threw it out. But...
Yeah, they work really nice. Ooh, double purple. Purple and yellow work really nicely together because yellow makes it very easy to enforce that, like, don't move after you shield purple if you shield purple side B, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Wait, I'm sorry, don't shield after what?
So if you shield purple side B, the Olimar that threw the purple side B can act way before the opponent.
Oh, because that has a lot of shield stun?
It's basically that it's its own independent projectile. Like, you know how, like, it's the same thing idea as Wolf Blaster. Like, Wolf fires it, and then it goes on its own. Let me get to here. Go ahead and just shield, and just try to mash shield grab after the purple hits you.
Okay.
That's my bad. Here we go. Damn it. See? Like, you might even not be able to roll or maybe spot dodge, depending on the exact numbers. But that's a big statement. I don't know confidently. But I can hit you way before you can move, or way before you can feasibly like counterattack me. So it becomes the situation of like, oh, if you do end up shielding that, then you have to take some kind of defensive action. So
is purple the safest Pikmin on shield?
Or? For side B, purple's the only one with shield stun. Technically, the safest Pikmin on shield is red because shield stun is damage, not knockback. It's that usually those two are correlated. So I think a landing fair, like a fair that you land the frame after, is like +1, I think, with red. But that's an uncommon situation. It's mainly just that they won't expect it to be plus. Or they won't expect... Even if you're -1, because of the way Smash works, they need to get out of shield before they can really do anything to you that isn't shield grab. So if you do, like, landing fair jab, it's very likely to catch them, just doing something. So let me...
okay.
So if I just do that into that... Let me throw away the other ones. I don't want to get involved here. Like, it's hard to get anything out in between that gap.
Yeah.
Because just like mathematically, you either need full jump squat and then a frame if you're Spacies, and then maybe 3 frames if you're like a Sheik or something, right? For whatever frame your button is, or you need your shield grab, which depending on how low this fair is, depending on how low the fair is, might even be interrupted. Oh yeah, F tilt. It's been a while since I've seen that.
Wait, what?
Here, let me get you the ledge. Go ahead and shield for me. F tilt, he does that little, like, he has that little momentum. He can get knocked off during that if he hits shield, and then he just doesn't reset the momentum. It just keeps going.
Huh. Weird.
Oh yeah, do you know about his ledge dash?
I know it's really good.
It is very good. It's almost as fast as you can do it. Like, because of the way his double jump works here, and his, like, collision box, I'm sure if you do it the literal frame after, you probably SD, but, like, if you just do that 45-degree angle, like, ASAP, then he just lands, and he's just invincible. It's great. Yeah, that's something you can work on, because it really makes him, like, unironically scary at ledge. Because, like... Ghost Pikmin! That'll happen sometimes, though. Where...
Wait.
I had a red.
On without?
Nope.
Oh, no, wait, no.
I had one red. I ledge dash, and he's in the stage now.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
You still have him?
I mean... Oh, no, he's gone now. So he just died.
Okay. But is that a thing? Like, you can still have it and it just flips through the stage?
Yep.
Oh, my.
It's not great. It's unfortunate, truly. Oh, there we go.
If the Olimar player knows that, but the other person doesn't, that could be really funny shenanigans.
There's a really funny thing, too, you can do. I don't know the exact setup. I don't know the setup that makes it feel, like, normal in a match. But if you, what is it? It's like if you can get puppet smashes where you can get the Pikmin to smash attack like on a platform without you.
Wait, really?
Yeah. I don't. It's kind of a complicated setup, and I don't know it, so I don't want to like spend a ton of time on it because like it's also not like it's great for like edge guarding recoveries, for instance, but other than that, it's a little too much setup to be viable or not to be viable right now, because like you got other things you got to worry about. It's like the Civvy thing. It's like this is cool and it's fun. It's a silly. It's a way that maybe has some advantages than doing the normal thing, but it is also complicated and weird and Olimar specific, and we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah, I need to get the basic parts of my secret flowchart down before I get all the way down to the bottom.
There. Okay, we're living. I had to whistle 2 or 3 times just to make sure that the purple Pikmin didn't die. No, the purple died. No! Yeah, that's another other thing. As you get kind of more comfortable with the character, you don't need to like you don't need to basically like consciously think about like, oh yeah, I have yellow, blue. What do those do? That, like I was saying earlier, that opens up your kind of like awareness to being like, oh, hey, you know, maybe they are using neutral B to stall like very early on as they come back consistently. And maybe that's, you know, you can go out there and hit them, for instance. Or maybe the Falcon likes to go high at a low percent and wants to sneak onto ledge at high percent, right? Like, it gives you, like, I like to separate it into head and hands. If your hands know, like, obviously your hands can't see the screen, but like your subconscious, you like just kind of like, you have it down pat that like, oh, red and purple are the kill ones. I'll go for a kill with red and purple or blue throws. You don't need to think about that, so that means you can look more closely at what your opponent is doing. You can look more closely at your positioning to get some like weirder follow-ups. You can make better choices, or at least more informed choices.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, informed choices.
Yeah, so like with Wario, let's say they DI in on jab 2 at 90 and you have waft. You don't need to actively think, oh wait, what do I get out of this? You just waft. You just take the stock.
Yeah.
Or out of like, I think on fastball is up throw up air kills eventually, but it confirms. You don't need to think, oh, what throw do I do? It's like, nope, it's Roy at 120 up throw up air. It is dead now. And then that gives you some more time to think about like maybe even during that, oh hey, what is this Roy player doing? How are they recovering? How are they, dash dancing in neutral? And you can like engage in that more actively.
Gotcha.
All right. Does that all make sense?
Yeah.
Sick. Okay. Do you want to do a best of 5 just to call it?
Sure.
Sick. It's bottom middle 3.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Just like bottom middle 3 random.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Red. I thought it crashed.
Me too. I was like, oh no. Oh my.
That was that was weird.
What was that?
The Wii Sports. Oh God, that Pikmin is obliterated. There's nowhere to go for that Pikmin.
Oh wait.
That's a weird collision thing. Just CCing jab by doing CC jab is really funny. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, up tilt's actually kind of bonkers. It is like a legit good anti-air, even against like huge moves like Falcon. Man, this is... I have not seen Dolphin do this.
Yeah, this is weird. Like, we were doing just fine before, and then suddenly Wii Sports theme is just like, no.
Man, we get these out of the way again. Okay, no more Wii Sports theme.
Alright, sick.
Oh, way too low. I should try to find that middle ground a little better. All right. Not this time. I'm not going to SD this stock. God, this matchup is so weird.
Yeah. Oh.
There's two little spacemen with plants just trying to kill each other. No. No. I'll take the punish. I just need to go on stage. No!
Hope you live.
Yeah, it's fine, it's fine. I went so deep. Character's so floaty, too. You can just go down there and make it back.
Yeah.
Alright. Okay, no Wii Sports. Good.
Yep, we're good.
That's my new superstition. Wii Sports theme breaks netplay.
First.
I will post it on the subreddit and begin spreading it immediately. No, I don't want any actual data on it. Don't ask.
I think it might be Smashville in general right now. For some reason.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it would just be the one stage. As far as I know, stages aren't like super differently loaded, if that makes sense. Like it's not like
Right.
I'm not aware of a stage that like is more intensive on like CPU or something.
I know in Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl that actually is a problem where certain online stages are just very laggy for no reason. I've never had that with Project M.
Yeah, and some other fighting games as well, like what is it? Guilty Gear Strive. It's the same deal. No.
Oh, too far back.
Yeah. Just a little tap.
Yep.
God, their faces are terrifying.
The Pikmin or Ollie?
Yes, mainly blue, but yeah. So yeah, I think the biggest things to work on are basically just getting comfortable with the character. You don't need to know like any flower versus bud versus leaf details. You don't need to know like, oh, maybe white has an inch more range than yellow on grab. It's like the one you don't grab with, the one that has bad range is purple, the one that has good range is blue, etc. You can just simplify it down and work from there.
Okay.
Yeah, and then as you do that, it'll make it easier to be able to pick up on both your habits. Like I had mentioned earlier, the like side or the neutral B stall at the same time most of the time when you're recovering, and then pick up on your opponent's habits, like especially that are influenced by the numbers. Like, oh, you know, Falcon is going to grab at 80 because that just kills you.
Yeah.
Or Marth is going to like F smash at 120. I don't really have an easy example of it on my head, but you know, character going to kill move at kill percent. Yeah, and I think that you'll be seeing a lot more improvement that way.
All right, sounds good. Thank you very much for the coaching. I learned a lot.
My pleasure. I'm always happy to help. Gonna hit the button for stream.